Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we shall be implementing a palindrome. So basically a palindrome is a word or a phrase or a sequence of characters which reads the same backward as forward, such as Madam, Resca, Civic, Dad, Mom, Hope, many other words that you can Google and find out if they are palindromes. So today we shall be implementing that in Python, and quickly let's start. Before we start, my name is Ronnie Atuhere, aka Afroboytex, and I like to always know what I'm doing first before I implement what I'm going to code. So we shall start with this video code. We shall define a function. We shall call it palindrome, which will take in something like a parameter. Then after that, we shall use for loops. We shall actually use a for loop to check for the English stop words. Stop words, these are words which are not necessarily having meaning, but they use maybe to make the sentence. They make a sentence have a meaning. Those are commas, the punctuation marks, the full stops. All those are, I'm going to call them stop words. So we shall use a for loop to remove those ones in a sentence. For loop for punctuation marks. Then we shall use a for loop from the words that we shall be created. We shall have created from the sentence. So that means before we have a for loop, we shall be having here a container, a variable that will be storing our palindromes. Palindrome variable container. Then we shall loop through. After looping through, then we shall check for palindrome under this same loop. Then we shall return palindrome. So basically this is a list. The variable, the container that you're going to create for palindrome is going to be a container of lists. So basically those are words that we shall be appending to that variable. So we shall return palindrome at the end of the function. So let's start. So call our function palindrome, which takes in a sentence. Okay, which takes in a sequence. Let's call it a sequence of maybe characters or a string. Then we're going to create a for loop. This for loop is going to help us for punctuation. So we shall say for I in, shall create a tuple, but this tuple is going to hold all these punctuation marks. For example, we have a comma, we have an exclamation mark, we have a parenthesis, another parenthesis, we have a curly bracket, two of them. We have square brackets, we have an apostrophe, we have right angled and left angled punctuation marks, we have the and sign, we have the dollar sign, the @ sign, actually even the full stop. So these are the words that we shall be removing from that sequence so that we eliminate them before checking for palindrome. So actually here we indent. So if I in sentence, we want to remove those words or these marks that are, let's say if they're in our sequencing. Actually it's a sequencing. So we shall say a new sequence, because sequence dot split. Let's split. Actually let's remove I. So that one is done. So that means we have a new sequence there. So let's pull this up for our variable. So we create a variable here. We shall call it we shall call it words. Let's call it words. So these are words that we shall be getting from the sequence. So basically, you're breaking down the sequence into words. First, it's empty. Maybe what we can do is we can call this a palindrome. Since we're returning a palindrome, let's call it a palindrome. Then create words which equals to sequence dot split. Use a split function here. So we're going to split by space. So any space in between there, that means that's a word. Then here we use a for loop. For word, in words, for word in words, if word equals to word, basically here now we're checking for palindrome actually. If word, to check if the word is the same reverse, we use this -1 as a step. This is basically meaning that we are traversing through that word, but we are traversing it through from the end. So we are just checking for equality. We know that if this word, let's say if is a palindrome, eve, so from the end it will be still eve. So this -1 is a step which helps us to check if the word is the same if written from behind. So if that word is the same, so we shall append it to the palindrome. So we shall say palindrome dot append word. So this one here is here. Then this one here, we shall return a palindrome. So maybe before we check our program if it is running smoothly, let's first ask ourselves, what if a user has an input? Okay, if someone puts something like a capital D, then A, okay, capital D, then small a and small d, that's dad. That is a palindrome also. So dad will not be equal to dad. Remember equality here because of the capital D. So that means we might need to have a lower variable. We may need to change the word so that it's speaking the same language, whereby if it is small caps, let them be small letters throughout. So basically here we are going to bring in a lower function. In Python you have a lower function. Say we can actually bring it in here. We can say word equals to that word dot lower before we check it actually. So I guess that's it. Let's check our program. Some sentence we shall put in. My mom has gone to see dad with a race car. See dad with a race car. So here we expect 3 words actually. We expect mom, we expect dad, we expect a race car. But as you can see, this is a capital M, this is a capital D. So let's see if our program runs smoothly. We save this. we run the program, we see it's working. Mom, dad, A because it's a single character, that's why it's bringing it. So that means it's only one. So from behind it's one, from front it's one. Still A, it remains A. That's why it's coming, it's appearing here, but basically it's not a word. Then you can see a race car. It's mom, dad, and race car. So yes, that's it. Our function is working. I mean, my challenge too is try to put in an if statement so that we can capture this. Remove this A. Remove this A so that we remain with the words, the only words that we need from here. Yeah, that's it, my friend. Thank you so much for coming here. See you next time.